I'm a graduate from DTU or Delhi Technological University, and my college experience was less than ideal. I made so many mistakes that I kind of still think about and maybe even regret to this day. And so I wanted to make this video to share with you my mistakes, my personal experience, and give some advice to you so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So let's begin. Let's start with something which I feel is the most important thing that a lot of people don't focus on when they are in college, and that is skills. Don't just rely what is being taught in the classroom. We all have been told this since we were kids that CGPA and your grades are the most important thing. But they are not. There are so many things that your professors and that your teachers are not teaching you, which are equally important for when you graduate from college. Now, I'm a software engineer, so I will speak in those terms. So, in our college, a lot of our education is focused on DSA, that is data structures and algorithms, which is important. I'm not saying it's not important at all. It is very important to for you to build a basic understanding of your concepts to for you to build a foundation. But that is not enough when you will graduate and step out into the world, and you will realize that you don't really have those skills that maybe other people do. And thus, this is the time when you should be focusing on learning some skills. That is, if you are a software engineer, if you're in your college, you should use this time to experiment with different languages. So, learn different front end languages, different back end languages, see what you are the most comfortable with, see what you are the most interested in, and then start doing internships and thus keep practicing that skill. You will see that you will be far ahead from your peers when you graduate. I know you all must be thinking that I don't have enough time, but wait till you get a full time job in which you will be working for 40 hours a week every single week. And you won't be getting your summer breaks or your semester breaks. You have to work for 8 hours every single day. And that is when you will realize that you don't really have that much time, and college was the time when you actually did have time. So, when you are in college, you do have time to experiment with different things, and thus this is a time when you can start experimenting and see which skills you love the most. So you can pick up any skill that you are the most interested in. For example, coding, of course, if you are a software engineer, so you can start with that, or if you're not, you can also pick up other skills. For example, video editing, graphic designing, copywriting, content writing, and there are just so many more. And don't think that you have to splurge a lot of money to learn these skills. You can learn all of these skills for free on YouTube. I love YouTube. YouTube is such a great source of information, of free information. You can get knowledge or information on anything, be it your development work or your editing, your copywriting, even self improvement and productivity, time management. There are so many things that you can find for free. So do not give this excuse that I don't have money to learn all of these things because I can't buy courses. You don't need to. YouTube, you can just start with YouTube. Another tip that I want to give you in this is that don't just rely on watching videos. Of course, you would have to start off with watching videos. That is how you will start learning. But at the beginning, it is very, very important that you also practice what you are learning, because your end goal is not just to learn a particular skill, it is also to be very good at that. And how do you get good at a skill? That is by practicing. So practice, practice, practice. No matter what skill you are choosing, develop as many projects or develop as many things that you can, just get your hands dirty. So I would like to summarize this point by saying that skills are very, very important to build, especially when you are in your college, because things are very different when you will step out into the world. That is when you will graduate. And thus you should utilize your college time to experiment with different skills and see what you like the most, and thus build on them. My second tip is to do internships and build side hustles. Now that you have your skills, you know that you are good at them, the next step for you is to get internships, that is to monetize those skills. Again, when you will graduate and step out into the world, you will realize how important your resume is. And thus, for resume, what do you need to have? You need to have work experience, you need to have internship. I mean, it's not mandatory, but of course, it gives you an edge over other people, especially if you are a graduate. It doesn't, though, the experience part doesn't matter when you are in your first year or say your second year, because you might be able to build projects. But once you graduate, when you're in your fourth year and then when you're a fresher, you will have an edge over other people if you have some work experience. That is, you have done some internships when you were in your college. Now, my favorite platforms that I used myself to find internships were Internshala and second is LinkedIn. I personally used Internshala 90% of the time and LinkedIn not so much, but nowadays it is very important that you focus on LinkedIn as well. Now, on Internshala, I know there is a lot of controversy of people saying that you get unpaid jobs or that people don't reply to you, but it is purely dependent on your skills and on your resume. If you are not good at something, if your resume is not very good, of course you're not going to hear back from the recruiters. And I love Internshala because firstly, this is not at all sponsored, but I loved using Internshala because over there you will find jobs in each and every field. You will find big companies, small startups, small companies, and of course you will also find unpaid scholarships, unpaid internships. But of course it is very, very important for you to not do those, because of course if you're spending your time, if you're giving your time and your skills at a particular place, it is important that you get what you deserve, right? So do not do any unpaid internships, but you can apply on Internshala and you can reach out to recruiters, message them, and make sure that you keep your resume updated. Now, the second platform was LinkedIn. Now, on LinkedIn, there are a lot of recruiters who are looking for interns. So, you can either personally reach out to them, message them, let them know about what you do, and what are you good at, share your resume or share your portfolio or your projects with them. So, you can start updating your LinkedIn with your projects and start posting over there, because LinkedIn becomes very important once you graduate and start looking for full-time opportunities. So it will be good for you if you will start getting accustomed to LinkedIn and start updating it now. Now, a couple of tips when it comes to your resume, since I've been talking about it a lot in this point. So, first tip that I would like to give you is that just keep it brief, keep it one page. Do not keep it two page. I feel like people who have 10 years of experience or 15 years of experience are the ones who can keep a two-page resume. But if you are in your colleges and if you have like 2 or 3 years of experience, it is important that you keep your resume short, crisp, to the point, and limited to a single page. Now, secondly, you all must be thinking that how can I make my resume when I don't have any work experience? Now, of course, when you're in your first year or your second year and you are just starting out, you won't be having a lot of experience because you are just starting out. So, how you can improve your resume is by making projects. Now, for example, if you are a developer, now we'll be speaking for a couple of minutes for developers, so I will leave a timestamp on the screen. So if you're not a developer, you can skip to this part. Now, if you are a developer, what you can do is you can build an app or you can build a website. Now, on YouTube, you will be able to find so many projects, right? You will be able to see people building Netflix clones, Airbnb clones, Amazon clones. Now, all of these projects are very good. Of course, they're very important, but they are important when you are just learning. So if you are trying to develop a particular skill, if you're trying to improve your coding skills, then of course you can pick up any project and build that from scratch. But if you want to write that include a project in your resume, it will be advised to stay away from these projects, because since they are on YouTube and since they are so popular, a lot of people will be building those projects. So recruiters don't really have an idea that they don't have this surety that you yourself have made this project, because it is everywhere. A lot of people are making that because it is publicly available on YouTube. The whole code base is available on YouTube, on GitHub, right? So you should think of what problems that you are facing currently, anything. So instead of just copying those project ideas and writing those in your resume, you should think about making something which is either made but you add a little bit of twist to it, or it is completely something that you don't really see a lot of, or it is something that is catering to your personal needs. Now, for example, my friend and I have been sharing check-ins with each other, in which we share what we are eating or what improvement we have made, if we are following our habits or not. And we do this all via WhatsApp or via, while personal chat. And thus, we just decided that maybe we should build an app, in which people can share their personal check-ins with either a group or with someone or with any people that they want to, or anything. We have not really decided what features we want to add, but this was just an example. So if there is a particular problem that you are facing, or if there is something that you feel would make your life a little bit easier, so it will really set you apart if you build a project that way, like that. And then, of course, needless to say, do not copy your project ideas, your projects from other people, because of course recruiters will be asking you questions on that project, and they will be able to tell in seconds if you are lying or if you didn't really, build that project on your own. Now, if you're not a developer, if you are, for example, a video editor, then you can build a profile. You can take any video and edit it and share that in your, add that in your profile. That will count, that will be counted as your project. And similarly, if you are in some other fields like content creation, again, you can do a work, do some work, and then share it in your resume. Now, if Internshala is not working for you, or LinkedIn is not working for you, you are not hearing back any response, then another thing that you can do is reach out to influencers, work with content creators. Now, content creators like me, they are looking for video editors. They are looking for thumbnail, like graphic designers, looking for content creators, for managers that can manage their social media. And thus you can personally reach out to these influencers via email. Just send cold emails to whatever influencer that you are finding, who you think has a good audience, or who works in a field that you want to work in, or you want to work with a particular influencer, and just start sending cold emails. You might not hear from, I think, around 80% of the influencers, but those 20%, they might give you some assignment, they might give you some video to edit, and if they liked your work, of course, that is a way that you can start earning. And also you can include that in your portfolio, all the videos that you are editing for them. Now, my third tip is related to networking and making friends. Now, I am a very socially awkward person, and thus this is a mistake that I did, was thinking that it will be very easy for me to make friends when I was in college. Now, of course, if you are an extrovert, I don't think you would be facing this problem, but if you are like me, you're either an introvert or an ambivert, then of course making friends for you might be a little difficult. So just think of this thing. First of all, over there, all the people that you see, are strangers, right? So they all must be facing the same issue, the same problem that you are facing. They all want to make friends. So don't think that people are going to judge you, or just go up to people and start having meaningful conversations with them. Don't think that people will come to you. That doesn't really happen. So you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to get out of your little cocoon and go out of your comfort zone and actually talk to people. Let me share a little experience of mine with you. So when I got to college, it was hard for me to make friends, of course, but then I made a group of friends, and I did not really enjoy being with them a lot. I wasn't very myself with them, and since I was a bit of socially awkward person, I did not interact with a lot of other people. I was limited to that one group, and thus I was not able to see what other people are doing, right? So, for example, that group of friends was also very focused on CGPA and on data structures and algorithm. And thus, we kind of just focused on that. And when we came to third year, I mean, at least when I came to third year, I realized that I don't really have a lot of skills. My resume doesn't look that good. I need to find internships as fast as possible so that I can sit on campus internships and get an internship. But that's why it was very hard for me. I realized that I was far behind other group of people, because there were other groups, there were other people who were actually from day one working on skills that they want to build. They were learning different languages, they were building websites, they were building apps, and thus they were working with different companies as well, and they had an amazing resume as compared to mine. I, of course, was able to get an amazing internship. It was an on-campus internship, and because I was in DTU, it wasn't very hard. But of course, if I would have worked a lot on my resume, if I would have gained a lot of great skills, maybe I would have been able to get a even better internship, maybe off campus, because off campus internships and placements usually offer you better money as compared to on campus placements. There was a friend of mine who met a senior who was a friend with someone who worked at another company, and that person was able to give my friend referral. And thus, you never know when all of these connections can build, and you get an opportunity which will be extremely crucial as a part of your career. So meet new people, take part in events, take part in hackathons, interact with different people, and don't just stay in that little cocoon of yours or limited to one single group of friends. My next tip is to invest. Yes, you can invest even if you are a student. I am not telling you to trade because, of course, it will be a little risky for you if you have no idea about what you're doing. But you should know about what are stocks, what are mutual funds, how you know which mutual fund or stock you should invest in, and what are SIPs, or which platform you should choose to invest your money in. So this is important that you do your research, because it will help you a lot when you graduate, first of all, when you start seeing some real money. But even if you are in college, you will be doing some internships, right? You will be earning a little, even if that's not a lot. But it is very crucial that you start developing this habit of saving and of investing. Now, my other tip in this is to make use of your student ID. Don't be like me and go and explore what places there are that give you a discount on student ID. For example, if you are a creator, if you are a graphic designer, then of course you might want to work at Canva. Now, if you have a student ID, it can give you can get 1 year free access on Canva using the GitHub developer pack. Similarly, you can get discounts on Apple products as well if you have student ID. Similarly, there are a lot of other places, even a lot of restaurants and other events where you get a discount on student ID. So make use of that. Now, next tip is CGPA is not that important. Now, since I have already talked about this a little bit in the first point, I will be speaking very briefly on this. So, of course, like I've said, CGPA is not the end of the world. What you're being taught in your classroom is not what you should be limited to. Now, if you want to sit on campus placements, then of course they do consider CGPA, unfortunately. But if you are someone who wants to go and discover remote jobs, or if you want to do off-campus placements, then CGPA is not that important. What is more important are your skills. I have noticed this so many times that people, even if now that I take interviews of other people for my company, I've seen that people who have a high CGPA don't really have a lot of skills. Now, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but of course, when you are focusing a lot on your studies, you are not really focusing a lot on other skills that you will actually be needing when you will be working at a company. And that is one thing. Secondly, I have noticed that remote jobs and of course startups that are based in other countries pay you a lot more as compared to if you work at an on if you take up an on-campus placement, or if you work at a company here in India. And if you want to work there, then of course your CGPA is not important. They don't care how much you scored or which college you are from, but yeah, you will get paid in dollars and you spend in rupees. And how do you do that? By developing skills. So focus on your skills. Now, my next tip is to don't care about other people. Now, when you will be in college, don't think that you will find a lot of mature people, because that doesn't happen. People in college are still kids, they are still immature, and so you will meet a lot of judgmental people who will judge you for whatever you do. Now, again, let me give you a little bit of background on this from my example, from my experience. Now, when I was in college, I started a YouTube channel which was focused around fashion, around beauty, which is a very saturated field right now. But at that time, it wasn't that much. And I used to post a video on YouTube every single month. But I did not have a camera. I didn't do any internships at that time, because I think I was in my first or second year, and like I said, I didn't really focus a lot on my skills. So yeah, and I didn't want to go and ask my parents about, just give me money that because I want to buy a camera. I didn't want to do that. So I used to shoot with my phone. I still shoot with my phone, but the quality of that phone camera wasn't that good. Then secondly, I wasn't that good at editing as well, and I didn't think that my content was very good. But I was still doing it, right? But then I put up a video, which if I look back at it now, in fact, even if I just look back at any video. All of those videos are private, by the way, if you go and try to find those. But yeah, all of those videos, I find them very cringe right now. But there was one video, and my so-called friends, my group of friends, made fun of me behind my back, and they also made fun of me on my face. When someone is making fun of you right in front of you, I mean, that's fine, but when someone is doing that behind your back and talking about you behind your back, it doesn't really feel that good, right? But so that was the point when I stopped my YouTube channel, because I felt that what are people thinking about me? They're making fun of me. Maybe it's not good. And when I look back at it, I kind of think that I shouldn't have done that, because that channel would have been something today. Maybe, but I would never know, because just did not try, I just stopped it after doing it for a couple of months. So this is one thing. If there is something that you really want to do, if no matter if it is a YouTube channel, no matter if you are trying to do something different, anything, just don't think what other people are going to think of you, because they are going to make fun of you. They are going to judge you no matter what you do. Right now, again, now when I started this the study pie, I started it off on Instagram first, and it's been a couple of years now. But when I just started it, they again made fun of me. I think I had just graduated, so I was still in touch with them. So they still made fun of me and called me, you're such a like influencer, or an upcoming influencer, or wannabe influencer. But when I gained 1,000, like I think I gained around 15,000 followers, then they started asking me, how did you gain that following, or how did you do that? So first, people are going to make fun of you, and then when you make something, you make something of yourself, of that particular thing that you were doing, then they're going to ask you how you did it. And so it is so important for you to do not give a about what other people are thinking. If they are judging you, just do you, unless and until you are not harming other person, you're not hurting any other person, you are just doing what you love legally, then just keep doing that, and just don't care what other people are going to think of you. That is only gonna rob you of so many things, of so many experiences, so many opportunities, of so much growth. So just do you. Now, my last tip is to eat well and stay active. I know you must be hearing about this point so many times. I have been saying this like a broken record on my Instagram as well, but it is so important, especially when you are in your college. You get introduced to so many things that you didn't really do when you were in your school, right? Some people might be smoking, some people might be drinking. You either want to experiment that, and in this process of experimenting, you might get addicted, or you just want to look cool, or you just want to try it under peer pressure, whatever it is. But you get introduced to so many bad habits, and so it is important for you to recognize and prioritize what you want to do and what you don't want to be a part of, right? So for example, again, let me share with you a little experience. When I got into college, I gained like 13 kgs, because I was eating out almost every single week. Because of course, when you are in your college, you have your group of friends, you roam around, you go to different places, you eat out. And I was having pizzas and cold drinks and drinking sometimes, on our outings. I mean, it's fine unless and until you don't get addicted to it, of course. Occasionally it's fine. Smoking is not, but that's another thing. So I gained a lot of weight, and I developed PCOS or PCOD. It's very hard for me to talk about it right now, but yeah, that is what happened when I was in college, because I did not have any physical activity. I did not go to gym. Now, this is something that I am working on a lot at this point in my life, of taking care of my choices about moving my body. So when you are in your college, if you don't want to go to the gym, if you don't have the means to go to the gym every single day or work out for 2 hours, then I'm not saying you to do that. Just do any physical activity. It can be even if you are walking, if even if you have, a dance, you have joined a dance society, or even if you are just going to the gym for like an hour. It doesn't matter what you are doing. Just do what you feel like doing, but just move your body, get some physical activity in, and make better choices when it comes to your food. Avoid eating a lot of processed and junk food, and just switch to a little healthy habits. So that is all I have for you in this video. Let me know if you can relate to any of the points that I talked about, and I will see you in my next video.